Giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, and bishops of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings unto the 144,000, as well as the rest of the elect. This is Brother Tazapah here with your daily lunch special, and today we're going to be serving up a little economic woes, all right? And this is going to be a follow-up to the Wednesday's lunch special, all right, which was titled Iranian Quagmire Not Designed for the U.S. to Win, all right, something along those lines. And what I'm going to attempt to do is expound upon the statement that I made about this being a reset war, because all modern wars, since this devil came in power, the Edomites, all wars have been bankers' wars, all right? And people don't know what's going on. So you look at the war right now and you think, oh, it's U.S. and Israel against Iran. But it is actually the elites against humanity. And that's what I was trying to state. But, you know, for the sake of time, as I mentioned, I want to expound upon that just a little bit in this lesson, all right? So, right, this is bigger than Iran and Israel. This is bigger than Israel and the U.S. This is the elites taking the population of the world to war, all right, because they've already come out and admitted through their flunkies. Because you never really hear from the elite. They have flunkies. They have Noah Yuval Harari. They have Klaus Schwab, whoever his successor is now. They have Bill Gates. They got these guys that they put up at the forefront, and you see them and you think, oh, Bill Gates is doing this. Oh, so-and-so is doing that. This is, all right, the true powers you don't see. It's a reason why they have the term the hidden hand, and hand is symbolic of power. It's talking about the hidden power, the real movers and shakers that you don't see. All right? The people that actually move barometers on life. You don't see them, you don't know who they are. All right? Well, these people are taking you to war. All right? And I want to bring that out because you Mark Mains, you simple Americans here, just because it ain't happening on your street and at your house, you want to ignore it. As if none of these things that take place around the world affects you. But then when you finally feel the effects, your dumb ass want to turn to the internet crying and complaining and doing rants and shit. And a lot of the problem here is that here in America, people are too reactive. Very few people here are proactive. And they just go along to get along. All right, now this is Habakkuk 2:6. We're going to speak from this. This lesson is going to come from the core of this lesson is going to come from this verse, all right, Habakkuk 2:6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, him that's in power, Esau, Edom, the elite of the Edomites, the so-called white people? All right, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. All right. That's what took place in Venezuela. That's what they're trying to do in Gaza. That's what they're trying to do, what they attempted to do in Ukraine. That was NATO trying to expand its territory into Ukraine. All right. And it's what they're doing in Iran. Increasing that which does not belong to them. All right. It says, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. All right, this term here, thick clay. And I already told y'all, they scramble the signals here at the job. Everything runs slow. I post the video at 1 p.m. It don't post till 3 p.m., 3:30. You know, this is Esau. You know, the goddamn thief and the crook and the murderer. He wanted to criminalize everybody else that's just minding their business, trying to take care of their families, you know, get through this shit we call life. And he criminalizes us, the goddamn criminal. So it says for thick clay, with thick clay, Strong's number 5671. Now that word, because I know what it is Ibatyat. Ibatyat. And it says weight of pledges, heavy depths. Heavy depths. Now if you understand the system that they're phasing out, this SWIFT system attached to the Federal Reserve dollar, all right, this system is a debt-based system. That's why it's Ibatyat. It's heavy debt, but that ran the world. The petrodollar in debt, U.S. Treasury bonds ran the world. All right, people just got gold and silver as a side note. Although gold and silver will always be valuable, it wasn't the main course, for lack of a better term, in this passing economy. All right, but all good things come to an end, you know, and debt can only run so far. And so we've come to the extent and the system has reached critical mass. And so there changes must be made, all right? That's what this war is about. All right, they want to bring us into digital money and all of this. I got some people that speaks on this. I'm gonna let them speak on it. All right, we'll start here.
And now they have a pretty good strategy of how to weaken and ultimately destroy the American empire. So what the Iranians are doing is they're waging war against the entire global economy. And so they are striking the GCC countries. And not only are they striking GCC countries, American bases, they're going after the critical energy infrastructure of these bases. They blocked off the Strait of Hormuz. And eventually, they will go after the water desalination plants, which is the lifeblood of these nations because they don't have a fresh water supply. In fact, the water desalination plants provides 60% of the GCC's water supply. So if a drone, and these drones cost $50,000, if they wiped out a desalination plant in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and it's a city of 10 million people, right? They'd be out of water in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. And right now, the Iranians have de facto closed off the Strait of Hormuz, and the GCC gets 90% of its food from the Strait of Hormuz. So I know a lot of people are talking about the disruptions to the global economy, but right now, the Iranians are actually threatening the very existence of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar. And why this is important is that the Gulf states are really the linchpin of the American economy. So what they do is they sell.
Yes, they are, per the petrodollar agreement, okay? They are effectively now being targeted by Iran, all right? Now, their strike on Aramco was credited to Israel, which was a strike to the Saudis, if I'm not mistaken, all right? But what he said, you must understand this, okay? This is a strike to the economy, which is what? A blow to humanity. Remember, Revelation 13 and 16 says, and he causeth all. All right. This war is to cause all, to bring all into subjection to this new digital nightmarish system. This dystopian financial and economic system. All right. Listen real close.
Yeah. UAE, Bahrain.
Let me go back.
2 weeks. And right now, the Iranians have de facto closed off the Strait of Hormuz, and the GCC gets 90% of its food from the Strait of Hormuz. So I know a lot of people are talking about the disruptions to the global economy, but right now, the Iranians are actually threatening the very existence of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar. And why this is important is that the Gulf states are really the linchpin of the American economy. So what they do is they sell petrodollars and then they recycle.
And you should already know, but the American economy is the global economy. That's the world reserve. Well, the United States is home to the world reserve currency, the Federal Reserve note. Okay, so what affects America affects the world. All right, because the whole world have drunken of her wine. This U.S. is other. I just to name a few. All right, democracy, Catholicism, but more than anything, this U.S. Federal Reserve note, which is the world reserve currency for obtaining commodities. All right, and with that, you know, the U.S. being home to that, when you weaken the U.S. dollar, you weaken everybody feels it. All right, a strong dollar is a strong economy. A weak dollar is a weak economy. The economy right now is weak.
The petrodollars back into the American economy through the investments in the stock market. And right now, we know that the entire American economy is propped up by AI investments in data centers. And a lot of that comes from the Gulf states. So if the Gulf states are no longer able to sell oil, and they're no longer able to finance AI, this AI bubble in the United States, then this AI bubble will burst, and with it will burst as well the entire American economy, which is really a financial Ponzi scheme. Right. So that's a dire situation that the Americans are facing right now.
Not just America, all right. It ain't just America. It's going to affect everybody. But hey, he's making excellent points. All right, and this is something we have to be alert and aware of. Let me play that just one more time.
And a lot of that comes from the Gulf states. So if the Gulf states are no longer able to sell oil, and they're no longer able to finance AI, this AI bubble in the United States, then this AI bubble will burst, and with it will burst as well the entire American economy, which is really a financial Ponzi scheme. Right. So that's a dire situation that the Americans are facing right now.
Mm-hmm. And the dollar is a Ponzi scheme. All right.
I've been warning people since 2020 in America and worldwide, and maybe from 2020 to 2023. It seemed like tinfoil hat. But this is the reality that we're facing now. This isn't fear-mongering. These are facts, figures, numbers, logic. Now, I'm about to tell you is my research, and I'm going to share with you what I am doing. I'm just going to be open and transparent. You have to do your own research. I'm trying to empower you to understand macro and microeconomics, how different things are, and how radically things are going to change over the next 10 years. This should be a warning to you. Gold officially overtakes the US dollar as the largest global reserve asset. 1970.
So if you holding gold, you looking good. But what you gonna do with it? As soon as you take it somewhere, they gonna lock your ass up. As soon as you go somewhere with some gold, they go, what you doing with this gold? Watch You'd rather have a pocket full of crack than an ounce of gold here real soon. And the same for silver. All right, they already going after people's silver. You know? But yeah, they do not want us. And it ain't just the Negroes and Latinos, but the little man, the working man, Joe Sixpack. They don't want us to have shit. Like I can't win just a little bit. One time. I can't just win once. And say, hell no. Klaus said you gonna own nothing and then be ecstatic about it. All right? But yeah, it's looking real good for gold. Gold ain't never looked bad. They just brought y'all into that I bought yacht system. My credit score is 800. I got a credit score of 700. Y'all are proud of y'all credit score. That's I bought yacht. That just tell the elite Edomite, oh, this is a good bill paying man. He pay his bills on time. She pay her bills on time. We'll extend her some credit. No, I don't want no credit, motherfucker. That's owning nothing and being happy. I mean, you can eventually own with credit, but credit is you getting something and paying for it later. You know, but anyway, yeah, gold is looking real good. I think it's around 5,000 an ounce right now, but that's to the U.S. dollar. That's 5,000 U.S. dollars per ounce of gold, showing you the weakness of the U.S. dollar. It takes $5,000 for one little bitty ounce of gold. Yeah, we approaching third world. We coming to the Zimbabwe type of shit, the Weimar Republic type of currency here in America. All right? But right, gold has surpassed the dollar as far as reserves. All right?
We detached from the gold standard, making our money fake. Around 1976, we flew into hyperinflation.
Go back a little bit.
Global reserve asset. 1971, we detached from the gold standard, making our money fake. Around 1976, we flew into hyperinflation. By 1988 to 1990, when we went into full financialization, which means money became completely detached from reality. After World War II, the American dream, the American trap was created, the middle class, which now you could monetize against your future.
Now what he's saying about the money being completely detached from reality, the proof of that is the almost $40 trillion of national debt, all right? And you add in unfunded liabilities and all these other schemes of the government, you're looking at well over $100 trillion of debt. That's I bought yacht, all right? That's what's getting ready to be, well, this has a lot to do with why this third woe is taking place outside of prophecy. We know it was prophesied to come, okay? But most wars are fought, what? Behind money. Well, this one is no different, all right? America is fighting to defend its global hegemony of the U.S. dollar and its dominance of, military dominance and its position in place on the global scale. That's what America is fighting for. Israel is fighting for greater Israel. And Iran is just trying to defend itself. So everyone has their own motives and their own reasons. All right, but it's going to affect, we're going to feel it. Us, the people. We're going to feel it. All right? And this economic is just the beginning. All right, this is just one aspect that I'm going into. All right, so don't think that this is the end all be all. It's not. I'm just looking at this one aspect of the war, the financial side, which is usually the cause of wars.
labor, a 30-year mortgage, an auto loan. And then by 1988, our couches and money became completely detached from reality. We were now being paid in someone else's debt. We'd put that debt into the bank. The bank would lend it out 9 times over. They would encourage us to finance everything because it made it easier for us. Because we afford more without having the ability to pay for it yet. But what that did is it took away from future labor. And then Bill Clinton created subprime mortgages as we went into the 2000s. And that caused a ripple effect. We went into 2006 to 2008, where non-income stated loans were created, a cat could get a mortgage, and the markets came collapsing down. That started our crisis stage in 2009, and Bitcoin was created. By 2012, Ripple created a token called XRP. It didn't start as XRP. You had 2 revolutionary financial changing assets that were created. Bitcoin, a store of value that's peer-to-peer outside a centralized party. Fixed supply, opposite of the inflationary US dollar. XRP, fixed supply, deflationary by nature, opposite of the US dollar. And I won't bore you with all the rest. But now you land in 2026, and central banks prefer gold as a global reserve asset. That's a clear sign to you. This is nothing new, guys. This happens over and over and over again. Here's another thing.
Right, it's a pattern of this. This is not new. They're crashing the old system. The value goes back to precious metals and other commodities because the dollar was propped up by BS. It never had, well, outside of the oil, that was its value. All right, Gulf state or Gulf country oil reserves. That was the value of the dollar. All right. And what you're seeing in the Saudi Arabia and them Gulf Coast countries, they're under attack. An attack on them is an attack on the petrodollar. Well, this fits the elites, their narrative perfectly. Because they want to move everything into digital. They want to get you into digital assets. All right? Again, more fake shit or some other world shit, cyber world shit, instead of giving us what the Lord put here in the earth. Riches come out the earth. You know, silver, gold, diamonds, if you want to count them, but all the other precious metals that they use in now, cobalt and all this, is in the earth. Livestock, cattle graze the earth. You know, I don't want digital nothing. You know, they keep giving us this fake abstract bullshit, and the people gonna go for it. Because the people are fake and abstract. The people have no substance.
It took gold 2,000 years to do. Price appreciation. It took Bitcoin 10 years to do. I want you to really think about this. Here's some logic. My 10-year-old son got a 3D printer. I have not bought him a toy in 3 months. He goes into his room and makes toys. You really think that the future of finance is a SWIFT system, a dollar that's fake, going to do a wire transfer that takes 2 days to get to the person? My son is making toys in his room. No. The future of finance is blockchain, distributed ledger.
Apostle Tahar called this years ago. That is the future, because that's what the mark of the beast will be tied to. They're using this chaos to bring it about. All right? And you hear about Iran striking the Saudis and Oman, the UAE, United Arab Emirates, and all of that. That's an attack on your money and your credit score, your beloved credit score. Because pretty soon it don't matter if you got a 1,000. Oh, my credit score is 1,000. Okay, well, get this chip. The fuck that gonna do for you? You gonna get a special chip? They're gonna give you they got an 800, get them a special chip. No, you just gonna get a regular chip like everybody else. Think they gonna extend your credit line? No, you gonna be on UBI like everybody else. They taking you from one fake ass system, putting you in another through this third woe. This is a reset war. All right, to reset the money and reset the people. All right, and this has been since Obama, but you saw it aggressively in the Obama administration that they're displacing everybody. They moving a lot of Hamites into Europe, different countries in Europe, moving the people of South and Central America up here to North America, where they're gonna have this prison state, this massive prison state, because that's all I see America being, a massive ass prison state. That's why these other countries are still buying treasury bonds. A treasury bond is an investment. Why would people still be investing in America? Because they know the 15-minute cities and all this control grid is coming, and that's what they're investing in. There's going to be some money to be made. I don't know how much. The elite don't even know. All they know, what they think is going to give them ultimate control, and so they're going for it. All right? They're being misled by demonic forces and Satan to bring all this about. But they're going to be stuck out just like everybody else at the end. It's going to seem like they winning. All right? But yeah, that was that. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I don't need that. So right, this is all about that thick clay, and then bringing everybody into a new digital system with the stable coin for us here, which they'll make it a CBDC, or we'll go to a different CBDC, but that's what it's about. All right, central bank digital currencies. And they got to get a central bank in Iran so they could have their CBDC just like everybody else. To quote Catherine Austin Fitz, Iran would be a leakage, a point of leakage in the system. They have to bring it under the digital system. Everybody have to, and we'll go out there. Everybody have to get under this umbrella of digitalization. So just to bring this out, and I hope this was edifying to help people see. All right, this is the elites against the world. All right, they're using Iran and Israel as proxy. This is Revelation 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. This is what we are. We are in the image of this beast. The beast was ancient Rome. All right. So a digital likeness now has been created in the image, the governmental structure of ancient Rome. And it said that the image of the beast should both speak, which means dictate, through law, executive orders, commands, all right, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right, in verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, because he's getting ready to bring the entire world under duress, financial duress. All right. You may be under direct, what would you call it? War distress. All right. You might be in the war zone in distress, but right, it seems like he's going to do it under duress. He's just going to have people's backs against the wall and tell them, well, the only way out, is the only way we can see We got to give you this chip. I don't know how we got to this point, but this is the only way out for you. Which the whole time this has been thought out centuries in advance. All right? I mean, look at the scripture. This scripture ain't new. This scripture been around for millennium. So they had to been brewing this idea at least for centuries, in which they did. All right? So, right, he's getting ready to cause all now. So just watch as the dollar, you're going to see prices steadily go up at the pump, at the registers. You get your groceries, you go to buy your drawers, your other, the stuff you need, your toiletries, and all that, you're going to be paying damn near half or 3/4 of your check. That's before you even pay a bill. Just to get the stuff you need, trying to eat and survive. All right, and then paying bills, forget about it. All these data centers running up both your water and your electric bill. It's about to get hard. It's about to get real hard. People don't want to come together. People don't want to admit, man, it's getting too hard. You know what? Maybe we need to go half on this rent. But it's going to come to that. 4, 5, 6 people in one household just to survive. Right, that's how you think they said. And he calls it all, both small and great, look, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, a microchip, to tie you to the digital system with the digital money and the CBDCs. All right? In verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. All right? Because it's a digital system. You're going to need a CBDC account. All right? You're going to have a CBDC account. And it's going to be tied to your chip, your new number, your old Social Security, and your birth certificate is all going to be on that chip with your CBDC. All right? And they're ushering this in by way of war. All right? So I'm out on that. To the next one, Shalom.